Honestly, I don't know anymore. Maybe it's the silence before the world wakes up. Or maybe
Today we'll be reacting to True Story Scary Animations.
it's because my dog, Buzzo, a golden cocker spaniel, won't let me sleep past 6 a.m. That morning started like any other winter jog, except for the fog. It wasn't the usual soft mist you could squint through. This fog was thick, dense enough that I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. It swallowed the path, the trees, even the cornfields that stretched endlessly along the outskirts of town. Everything beyond arm's reach looked smudged out, but Buzzo didn't care. His tail was wagging wildly, floppy ears bouncing as he trotted beside me, occasionally sniffing the frosted ground. I tugged my hoodie tighter around my neck. Come on, Buzzo, in and out, quick lap, then breakfast. The cold air stung my lungs with each breath. The only sounds were our footsteps and the faint jingle of Buzzo's collar, until something else slipped through the silence. A rustle, not the wind, not an animal, something heavier. I stopped. Buzzo followed. The fog wrapped around us like a curtain, muffling everything. I stared at the cornfields, just a towering mass of blurred stalks and shadows. Probably a deer. I mumbled, more to convince myself than anything. We kept moving, but the unease clung to me like the wet mist settling on my skin. Then I heard it again, another rustle, lower this time. Buzzo's body went stiff, his ears pricked forward, and a low growl rolled out of his throat. I'd heard him bark, whine, howl, but rarely growl like that. It was the kind of sound he made only when he sensed real danger. Hey, buddy, come on. I gently tugged his leash. Let's go back, fog's getting bad. But before I could take a full step, Buzzo tensed, and then he bolted. He yanked the leash right out of my hand and dove headfirst into the cornfield, disappearing into the fog in seconds. Buzzo! My voice echoed into the gray nothingness. Buzzo, come back! Panic surged through me like a punch to the chest. I sprinted after him, tearing through the icy stalks, wet leaves slapping against my face. The fog made everything disorienting. I couldn't tell how far I'd gone or which direction the path was anymore. Then I heard Buzzo barking, furious, rapid, frantic. He'd never barked like that in his life. I forced myself deeper into the corn, branches scraping my arms. My breathing was loud, too loud. Every other sound felt swallowed by the fog. The barking grew louder. All of a sudden, it was overlapped by a spine-chilling scream, a man's scream. My heart lodged in my throat. Buzzo, where are you? I crashed through a final wall of stalks and stumbled into a clearing, a flattened patch of mud and broken corn stalks. And there they were. Buzzo stood planted in front of a man curled on the ground. My dog's teeth were bared, fur bristling, his body shaking with rage. The man scrambled backward, his face pale and wild-eyed. His right hand was dripping blood. A rusty knife lay a few feet away, knocked into the mud. What the hell? I whispered. The man looked up at me, eyes frantic. Call him off, man. Call him off. He tried to kill me. He's a dog, I said. He doesn't just attack. But even as I said it, I knew the truth. He didn't attack. He protected. I stepped closer, and the man flinched, clutching his bleeding hand against his chest. Get your dog away from me, he yelled. Buzz, I said firmly, come here. But Buzzo didn't move. His entire body was locked onto the man with laser focus. His growl deepened. I followed his gaze, and that's when I saw it. A thick rope partially buried under the leaves along with a torn backpack, footprints circling the clearing, waiting places. This wasn't a hiker. This man had been hiding, lurking, waiting possibly for someone like me. Everything clicked at once. The rustling, Buzzo's reaction, the knife. He hadn't been attacked. Buzzo had stopped him. The man's expression shifted the moment he realized I understood. His panic faded into something colder. calculating. He lunged for the knife, but Buzzo beat him to it, launching forward with a snarl. The man jerked back, slipping in the mud. Buzzo's teeth clamped onto his wrist again. The scream that tore out of him was worse this time, raw and choked. I ran in, grabbed Buzzo's collar, pulling him back. The man scrambled to his feet and bolted into the fog, disappearing so fast it was like the fog swallowed him whole. I held Buzzo tightly as he shook with adrenaline. "Good boy, you're okay. You did great." My hands were trembling uncontrollably. I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911. When the operator answered, the words practically tumbled out of me. "There's a man. He had a knife. My dog, there's blood. Send someone, please." Police arrived within minutes, fog still thick enough that I heard them before I saw them. They combed the cornfield and found the knife, the blood trail, the rope. Not the man. He'd escaped. But later, they told me he'd been reported multiple times, lurking along jogging trails, targeting early runners. "He was hiding there to rob someone," the officer said. "If your dog hadn't gone after him, you would have walked right past his hiding spot." I looked down at Buzzo, who was sitting between my feet, panting and wagging his tail like none of this was out of the ordinary. That morning, I realized something terrifying. I had walked past that spot every day. Every day. Someone had probably been watching me, studying my routine, waiting for the fog or an early morning when I was alone. I didn't sleep well for weeks after that. Every rustle, every shadow, every foggy morning made my skin crawl. But Buzzo? He slept curled up against my chest every night, warm and soft, as if protecting me, even in my dreams. Sometimes people say animals sense things we can't. That morning, I learned they're right. I thought I was walking my dog for exercise. Turns out, he was walking me for protection.
If you live in a Massachusetts zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years...
My therapist says writing this out might help me sleep again. I don't know if it will, but here I am. If you're reading this, please understand, I am not exaggerating anything. I'm 29 years old, and what happened to me during my sunrise walk 2 months ago has changed the way I look at every person I meet. I walk the same trail every day before work. It loops around a lake, then cuts through a patch of forest before opening back up into a grassy clearing. That morning, the sky was soft pink, the air cold enough to sting my nose. I had just rounded the bend near the old picnic benches when I heard branches snapping. I stared at the direction from where the sound came from. First few seconds, I saw nothing. Then, slowly and silently, a woman stumbled out of the woods. She was barefoot, covered in dirt with a bruised face, hair tangled with leaves. She was shaking so violently I could hear her teeth clicking, and the look in her eyes, wide, wild terror. Her voice cracked as she whispered,
"Please, he's going to kill me. Help."
I kept my voice steady, or tried to. Something told me not to panic, not in front of her. I slipped my hand into my hoodie pocket and pressed the power button on my phone. I didn't lift it out. I didn't look down. I just dialed 911 by muscle memory and kept it hidden, letting the operator listen.
"It's okay.
I murmured to the woman, reaching out slowly like she was a wounded animal.
You're safe with me. Just breathe."
But she grabbed me, hard, fingers digging into my arms so tightly I winced. She kept glancing over her shoulder at the tree line, like something was stalking her from behind every trunk.
"I left my bag in there. It has all my details, but I'm scared to go back there alone,"
she whispered. Her fear felt real enough to choke on. I spoke gently to keep her calm, but the truth is, I was terrified. My hand was shaking in my pocket, gripping the phone, praying 911 understood I couldn't talk. Then, I heard a sudden movement. It came from the woods, slow, deliberate steps, like someone pushing through bushes and coming closer. The woman's nails dug deeper into my skin, her entire body stiffened. A tall man stepped out between the trees. He was holding a shovel, and not a clean one. The blade was caked in soil, fresh soil. He didn't say a word, just stared at us with this blank, unreadable expression. Not angry, not surprised, almost patient. The woman immediately ducked behind me, like a child hiding from a monster. Her sobbing was so loud I could feel it shaking my back.
Please don't let him take me.
She cried. I stood there, frozen between them, heart pounding so hard it drowned out the birds. The man's eyes flicked from her to me, then back to her. And then, without a single word, he turned around and walked back into the woods, just disappeared behind the trees. I didn't understand. Why leave? Why walk away so calmly? My phone buzzed in my pocket, nearly making me jump. I looked down. A silent text from 911. Units arriving. Stay where you are. The woman still clung to me like she was about to collapse. I kept whispering,
It's okay. Help is coming. Just stay with me.
even though my own legs were trembling. Minute.
Are you struggling with depression? You may be eligible for a new...
Later, though it felt like hours, officers appeared from the trail entrance. They didn't run. They approached slowly, cautiously, hands hovering near their holsters. Two of them went past me into the woods. Within seconds, one of them shouted. I don't know exactly what they found, but I heard the words like fresh dirt, rope, half dug, and footprints. The rest stayed with me and the woman. I kept explaining everything, how she ran out, what she said, what the man did. I expected sympathy, reassurance. Instead, one of the officers kept staring at the woman with a puzzled, almost disturbed expression. Then he asked me something that made no sense at the time. Ma'am, did she ask who you called? I blinked.
What?
Did she ask if you had a phone, or ask you to call anyone? I replayed that moment in my head. The trembling, the begging, the grip on my arm.
No.
I said slowly.
She never asked anything about a phone.
Right
The
here.
officer nodded like that confirmed.
Right here.